Howdy folks, how are you guys doing tonight? It's gonna be a short stream today. Just want to introduce myself and get you guys introduced to me. My name is, as you can see, the Hulk. Like I said, I'm not sure how long that's gonna last, but for now, that's what I'll call myself. Just thought I'd let you guys know how I got to this point where I was and where I want to go from. Well, I guess from here. Just decided to start a stream one day and we'll see how it goes. Like I told you guys from the other one, sorry about the quality. I'm still kind of fine-tuning some of these settings. But mostly, my streams are going to be something like this, 30 minutes, an hour gameplay, talking about whatever it is that we decide to talk about that day. And I'll be starting this one today on my own. Hopefully get people interested in whatever stories I say today. Well, I guess to begin, what got me started about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Started my first real job at a diesel mechanic shop, which I've been for the past 15 years. So that's basically what I've been doing my whole adult life. Started off back in 2002 with tech school. Started one of those. And went for a year of that. Graduated. Moved here to Texas. And started working. Like I said, as a mechanic. And I wasn't too familiar with how to handle money, as most people fresh out of school, you start making some money and you're like, oh, I got money, I'm gonna go spend money. And that's basically the same thing I was. Just got out of school, started a job, and just lived life like a normal person. One thing I do say is, since I got out of school, I've always been pretty strict with my money, pretty tight with my money. A lot of people call me cheap. I say frugal. So I don't know. I guess it just depends what side of the coin you're looking at it from. But yeah, so that's how I started my career. Got out of school, started working here in Texas 15 years ago, and I've been a mechanic ever since. And a couple years ago, I was in the oil field here in Texas. And as you know, well, many people know, when you're in the oil field, you have more money and you have time left. So I ended up saving quite a bit of money, and oil field died down, everything slowed down, started getting layoffs. I had to change plan and go back to a regular dealership. The oh, just let's say it was half the pay for about the same amount of work, so that wasn't fun. And so I don't want to say started living paycheck to paycheck, because I've never lived paycheck to paycheck, but it was not as easy to go out and take my family out every weekend. It was you know, it was getting by. Nothing fancy, nothing. And so, yeah, that's basically what happened after I came back from the oil field to a regular 9 to 5, and it wasn't that fun because, like I said, I was used to making a little bit more money than what I was used to when I first started my job at the first dealership I worked with. And so things kind of got tight, and I was like, well, there's got to be something out there. So I started listening to, I guess at that time it was Dave Ramsey on YouTube, and he kind of opened my eyes to a different world that I had never seen before. Not necessarily the get out of debt part, because I've never really been in debt. Like I said, I've been pretty frugal my whole life, and debt wasn't something that I ever got into. But, you know, he had kind of solid ideas at the time that I thought were pretty solid. So I listened to him. I did a couple of his baby steps that he has. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with his 7 baby steps, but you know, I saved a little bit more money than I already had, because I already had the $1,000 saved. I started my rainy day fund, and I started investing. So my brother and I, back when we were way younger, we had this great plan of investing every single thing that we could and retiring by the time I hit 40, and he'd be 36 at the time, I think it was. And so that was the great plan that we had. And so we started investing. We started putting money in the mutual funds that Dave Ramsey always talks about. And well, it didn't happen quite that way. I met my wife in the time frame from then and now, and well, I don't know about you guys, but when you have money mixed in with your family members, your wife doesn't really care for it. So we kind of separated the money. The money that I did have, bought a house, not cash, but we bought a decent sized down payment, and well, just started living the American life, buying things and going out, stuff like that. Now, still not going into debt because I've never liked going into debt, so there was none of that. But just different lifestyle. And well, one day I came home from work, and my wife doesn't appreciate me talking about this, but I found her one day crying in the office, and being the typical me, I was like, "What did I do? What did I do this time?" And well, come to find out, she was the opposite of me. She was in debt. She had student loans, credit cards, so it was something that I wasn't used to, and it kind of took me by surprise because I honestly didn't think that Dave Ramsey stories were 100% real. And so, all right. So yeah, so we figured it out. We talked. We had conversations about it. Came up with a game plan. Not as easy as I'm making it sound, but we 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 did what we had to do, and we fought hard to overcome the struggles of newly married and money problems. If any younger folks are watching this and planning on getting married and you haven't talked finances with your future spouse, I recommend you do that, because if you're pretty tight with your money and you get married with somebody that's not, you're gonna have problems, and that's something that can be avoided if you guys talk about it before marriage, or if you guys are just gonna live together or something. As long as you talk about it, there won't be any surprises later on. So yeah, so we overcame that, and she wasn't all about that Dave Ramsey stuff, and at that point I was getting to where his baby steps kind of didn't seem to match with the stage of life I was in. So I kind of started looking into these things called podcasts, which, again, at that time, I had no idea what podcasts were. And so I started listening to some of them, and boy, they opened up my eyes to a whole nother world far beyond Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's pretty good at what he does. He will help you if you're in a situation where debt is keeping you behind, where you don't know what to do because debt is an everyday struggle. He's really good at helping those people out. So if you guys are in a situation where you guys need help, this would be a pretty good place to come talk. And at the same time, I think you guys should check out Dave Ramsey to begin with. See what you guys can learn from him if you're in that situation. And if not, well, good for you. But okay, so started listening to podcasts and these crazy ideas. Talked to my wife about them. She wasn't so thrilled about some of these ideas that the podcasts were talking about, and save all your money and don't be spending any money. There was cheap as you can and stuff like that. So she wasn't all into that. So that's where I learned about the FI movement, um, FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, and it's a pretty, I don't know, niche movement, I guess you want to call it. Um, a lot of bloggers, a lot of podcasters, a lot of influencers in that space, and I guess that's where I'm squeezing in. I haven't seen the FIRE movement involved with gaming, and I was like, well, if there's no FIRE movement in gaming, might as well start a channel and get all the gamers involved in saving money, retiring early, and not necessarily retiring early to quit your job, but retiring early to do whatever it is you want. Stream all day, game all day, start, I don't know, whatever little side projects you're into, building hot rods, or I don't know, whatever you're interested in. Once you're financially independent, there's really no, how can I say this? There's no restrictions to what you can do with your time. And speaking about that, we are one step closer. Today, I have the statement from the bank saying that my house is paid off, so I'm 35, 36 years old with a paid off house, and not because I make millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but because the FIRE movement opened my eyes to saving and investing and just basically being smart with your money. So that's another thing that has happened here recently. But and that's basically what I want this channel to be. I want to talk about how we as a whole, as a community, can get better at not necessarily just paying off a house or buying a house cash, right? But being financially savvy, smart. Because I don't know about you guys, but I didn't learn anything about money when I was in school. And when I got out of school, I didn't learn much either. So I think this is a good platform to reach younger guys, younger girls, to learn about money, how to handle your money. At the same time, how to eat well, how to stay active and fit. But yeah, so that's basically been my story of how I got here to what I'm doing right now. Streaming mostly for fun. Never thought I'd be doing this, but here I am. Uh, and hopefully you guys listening to this know somebody, maybe know somebody that might be interested in this. I know money is a big taboo subject and not many people like to talk about money for some odd reason. It seems it's more accepted to talk about everything else but money.
Too much clutter.
And I'm wanting to change that part, the taboo about money, and we're not supposed to talk about money. I know growing up, my parents never talked to me about money. Every single time I asked my dad, hey, how much money do you make, Dad? He'd just tell me, hey, that's something we don't talk about. You don't talk about money with anybody. Money's a private matter, and you keep it to yourself, son. And so pretty much I never asked anybody about money ever until now that I'm interested in the whole financial movement. I don't know, money just is not this taboo thing for me anymore. And I don't know, I guess I'm just a weirdo that doesn't mind talking about money or life or whatever. But if you know somebody, if you yourself are in a situation that you want to learn about money, and I'm not a guru, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a financial planner, I'm not a CPA, I don't have any fancy title after my name. I'm just a regular Joe Blow that works on trucks for a living. And like I said, there's plenty of podcasts out there, there's plenty of YouTubers that make financial programs or videos or just in general, what's it called? I don't know what word, but media, where they do videos, podcasts, they do vlogs, they do all that stuff. And there's plenty of them out there, but I've not seen one that talks about this stuff while playing video games. And I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to play game to play and talk about this stuff, discuss it with people. Because honestly, there's a lot of good that could come out of people talking about money. It can open up a whole lot of opportunities for your future. And it could potentially mean that you can retire early, and if not retire early, at the very least work somewhere where you're not gonna hate your life. because I know plenty of coworkers that I've had throughout the years that hate their life, hate everything that's going on, just because they don't like where they're working. Me, fortunately, I like what I do. I like being a mechanic. I like working on trucks. I work for a very big dealership, truck dealership. Not pickup trucks, but semi trucks. And
good work clearing
I
another
like what I
path
do.
through Axiom Prison.
I've enjoyed it since
Starting
day
to think
one.
those stories I've heard about you might be true.
I've been a mechanic my whole life.
With the road to the Frisian
Ever
Forest
since I
clear
can
again,
remember,
I trekked
5, 6
through
years
to the
old, I
forest
was
beyond
tearing apart
to see
my
if the strangeness we're seeing
little
on the coast
tricycle
is
or
also
my little
happening
Hot Wheels
inland.
cars. I couldn't put them back together
What
back
I
in those
saw
days, but
nearly
I would
froze
always
my
tear them
heart
apart
solid.
just to see how they worked.
The animals there,
And
poor wretches,
it was always fun to me.
overtaken by some sort of
The
parasite.
older I got,
As
the
close as I can
deeper
reckon, they're
I
like
tore things
termites,
apart.
burrowing
Like I
into
said, I
flesh
still
and
couldn't put them
mind
back
instead of
together, but
wood.
it
But
was
I'm right.
the tearing it
There'll be a
apart,
nest somewhere.
seeing what was
In the
inside
cold.
that made it work.
If you can find it, destroy
That
it. Those parasites
that got
aren't
me
something
intrigued
you
and
want to see
interested.
around here anytime soon.
And I couldn't have picked a better
Stay sharp out
career because, like I said, I like what I do. I like working on trucks, and it's fun to me. Now, some of the guys I work with, not so much. They're mechanics because that's just the field that either their dad worked in or their uncle worked in, and
Stay sharp out there.
so that's just what they're in. If not, some of them thought that it was something that they would like, and it ended up being that they didn't like. It's not what they thought it was going to be. And yeah, so like I said, they don't like what they're doing, and they're tired of it, or they just don't want to do this anymore, and they feel that they are stuck, or they just hate life, basically. And not me. I'm the complete opposite. I'm pretty happy working on trucks. I like working on trucks, and for the foreseeable future, I plan on keeping on working on trucks. If it's my own shop or if it's where I am now, it doesn't really matter. As long as I could keep working on trucks, I'll be happy, because working on trucks makes me happy. And that's not something you can say about most people and their jobs. You go talk to most people,
Who'd have thought those bleating
I don't know,
bastards would go
a
and
fast
find
food
religion,
place
eh?
or
Now there's nothing
a
quite
retail
so
place,
sure to
they
spoil
hate
a
life,
man's
they
appetite
hate,
than an
not all of them,
ecclesiastical debate
I will
come
take that back.
supper time.
a lot
Yet
of
this
them
goatman
are
god,
just
this
there
Eberhard, seems
for a
fair
paycheck.
determined to mix his morsels with his spiritual enlightenment.
They're not interested in what
Put
it
no
is that they're
finer
doing.
point on it. When the
That's
goatman
why you
find
go
him
to
a
some
soft,
stores
bit
and you get
human
bad
tools
customer
behind
service,
sacrifice. He eats
because
them,
they don't like
meat,
what they're doing.
soul and all.
And I will
That's
tell you
what
this,
religion says.
whenever you're in a position
Let me
that
tell
you
your
don't
future.
depend on money,
Fate awaits you.
I'm not saying I don't depend on money, because I'm not financially independent yet, but we're on our way. But as long as you like what you're doing, you won't feel like it's a job. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard what the acronym for job is. It's just over broke. So if you have a job, you're just over broke. And me, I have a career. I like being a mechanic, so I don't look at it as a job. I like waking up in the morning knowing where I'm gonna go, where I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna be doing, because that's what I picked, and I love what I do. And like I said, even when I retire, I'll still be working on trucks, cars, motorcycles, anything that has an engine or runs or moves. I will be working on it. But yeah, that's basically what this channel is gonna be. Most of what I've talked about today is the things that I would like to be talking about. And like I said, if you or a family member or a friend, a co-worker, anybody that you know that is interested in video games and is also interested in improving their financial situation, their well-being, throw them my way. Subscribe to the channel, comment, leave some feedback for me. I know right now the quality might not be the best. I'm streaming off of my phone as far as the camera. This headset's, I don't even know what brand it is, but it's not very clear. And so I'm just getting started, and any feedback would be appreciated. And so like I said, this will be on YouTube, so YouTube people can follow me there, or come to Twitch and catch me live and ask questions, and we will hopefully build a strong community of, I don't know if this will stick, but financially independent gamers, or FIGs. Maybe not, right? But yeah, so you guys like the video, follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, and hopefully I will be back on Wednesday, because that's basically what I want to do. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, an hour and a half talks, and just hang out, play, and talk. So you guys know what to do. Hope you guys have a good one, and thanks for listening to me, and hope you guys enjoyed. Later.